Here's your news rush for July 22, 2026. 6 stories. Let's go. 18 American troops are now dead in the war with Iran. The U.S. struck Iran for an 11th straight night, Central Command says, aiming to stop Iran from threatening shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. The Pentagon this week confirmed the death of Army Sergeant Angel Rampersad, 28, previously listed as missing after an Iranian strike on a U.S. base in Jordan. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told lawmakers the war has cost $37.5 billion so far. A second major oil choke point is now under threat. Yemen's Houthis are enforcing a naval blockade on Saudi Arabia through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, which carried about 7.4 million barrels of oil a day in June. Data firm Kpler says a full closure would cut roughly 7% of global oil output. That's on top of the Strait of Hormuz, largely shut since March. Analysts warn the two blockades together could block up to 25% of the world's oil and gas supply. A missile struck a children's amusement park in Ukraine's Odessa region Saturday evening, killing a 16-year-old boy and injuring 12 others, including a 2-year-old. Ukrainian prosecutors opened a war crimes investigation. The strike capped a brutal week for the region, with Russian forces hitting Greater Odessa's ports and merchant ships for 5 straight days, cutting grain export capacity by roughly a third. UN monitors say Ukraine's civilian death toll so far this year has already reached 1,396, a 37% jump from last year. The House just voted to keep the government funded past the midterms. Lawmakers passed a stopgap bill 220-205, extending funding at current levels through December 4. Current funding runs out after September 30, and this vote is meant to avoid what would be the third government shutdown since last September. But the bill faces a tough Senate, where Republicans need at least 7 Democratic votes to clear the 60-vote threshold. Democratic leaders say it fails to limit funding for the administration's deportation operations. Nearly 1 in 4 American workers are stuck in jobs they don't want, and it's all about health insurance. A new Gallup and West Health study finds 24% of U.S. workers, roughly 23 million people, are staying put just to keep their coverage. That's up 8 percentage points since 2021. The rate jumps to 41% among workers with chronic health conditions, and to 44% among those already carrying medical debt. Researchers call the phenomenon job lock, and say it's only getting worse. 2 paddleboarders in Texas thought they were rescuing a dog. They were very wrong. Fishing on Lady Bird Lake near Austin, the pair spotted an animal struggling in the water and scooped it onto their board to save it. It turned out to be a raccoon. The animal went from snippy and standoffish to curling up underneath one of the paddleboarders for shelter from the rain. Once they reached shore, it bolted off the board and vanished, leaving the rescuers stunned. That's your news rush for today. Like and subscribe so you never miss a day.